Hi CCC family, it's Dawn Marie with Custom Comfy Crochet, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really easy, beginner-friendly placemat. And if you know how to make a chain, a single crochet, then you can pretty much get this done, okay? So let's get into our materials. For our materials today, I'm using a 4mm hook. You will also need a pair of scissors and a darning needle. I'm using cotton yarn. You can use any kind of cotton yarn that you want, but I would suggest using cotton yarn for the base of this grid that I'm going to show you how to make. And then I used a Hobby Lobby print yarn for these pieces that we're going to bring in through here and for our tassels, okay? But I do want to ask you real quick to please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notify me bell below if you haven't been notified of my videos before so that you can. And please like and share. Sharing helps more than anything, and I really appreciate it. Also, I have a beginner video below for beginner crocheters, and it teaches anyone how to crochet and explains all the tools to you, and that's the description in the description box below. Okay, so let's get into the tutorial. So as I said before, this is done in a grid pattern. So you make the grid and then you pull in these pieces, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on a smaller scale how to make the grid, and I'm going to give you all the numbers for this placemat. And just so you know, this placemat is roughly with the tassels, so I'm including the tassels. It is approximately 20 inches long, okay? So that's how big this placemat is. If you want to make it smaller or bigger, then you'll have to adjust the measurements that I give within this video, okay? So for instance, we're gonna start off making this grid, and for this size placemat, I would start off with a chain of 83. Okay, but for the sake of the video, I'm not going to start off with a chain that big because that would take forever. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this to the side. Remember that you will need to start, you do need to do whatever chain you decide to make for this. You are going to do multiples of 2 plus 3 at the end. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make a slip knot, and I'm going to just do a small version. So I'm going to chain 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And then I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And into the third chain from the hook, I'm going to put a half double crochet, and then I'm going to chain 1. Then I'm going to skip a stitch and go into the next stitch, put a half double crochet, and chain 1. Then I'm going to skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, put a half double crochet, and chain 1. Then I'll skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, put a half double crochet, and chain 1. So you just keep doing that all the way down. And then when you get to the end, just like you've been doing all along, you're going to skip this one stitch, go into the last stitch, and put a half double crochet. And this is what it looks like. Then you're going to chain 3 and turn your work. That chain of 3 counts as your first half double crochet and a chain 1. So then you're going to go right over to the top of your previous half double crochet, and you're going to put a half double crochet on the top of that. Then you're going to chain 1, and you're going to go into the top of your previous half double crochet, and you're going to go to the top of that and put another half double crochet. Then chain 1, go over to the top of the next one, put a half double crochet. Chain 1, go over to the next, and you're just going to keep doing that all the way down. Okay, and then when you get to the end here, you'll see we have a half double crochet here, and then we have this where we did our first chain here, and that's where we, that's also considered a stitch here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my next stitch. I'm going to put my half double crochet. And then I'm going to chain one, and I'm not going to forget this last one here. But what I'm going to do is you see there's 1, 2, 3 stitches here. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to go into the second one right there. So the second stitch right here in the middle after I chain one, and I'm going to put a half double crochet into there. Just like that. That's what it looks like. And it may look like that's going out a little bit farther. It may look a little wonky. Don't worry about it. Once you finish, also it can look a little wonky as you go on, and I want to go ahead and tell you that, because a lot of times when we're crocheting and we're doing something and it looks weird, we just don't know, am I doing it right? Should I stop? Should I start over? So I want you to know that as long as you do exactly what I tell you to do for this grid, when you get to the end, it is going to look, because it is a grid, it can kind of turn different ways. Don't worry about it. As soon as you put all your pieces in and you do your tassels on the end, it'll come together beautifully, okay? So after that, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. You're going to turn your work, and you're going to keep doing exactly what we did before. Remember, this counts as your half double crochet chain 1. Then you're going to go into the top of your previous half double crochet and put another half double crochet. Then you're going to chain 1, and you're going to keep doing that all the way down. Just like this. And then when you get close to the end here, as you can see, it's easier to see now than it was before. But as you can see, we have this one and we have this one right here that we need to work on the top of. So we don't want to forget that last one there. So we're going to put a half double crochet in this one here on the top of that one. Then we're going to chain 1, and right here we've got this chain of 3 again where we turned before. And you want to go into the second chain up. So 1, 2, and 3, you're going to go into the second chain. It can be kind of hard to see. Let me pull out my darning needle so I can show you. But so as it's turned, it's gotten a little weird, but right here is 1 stitch, right here's 1 stitch, and right here's 1 stitch, okay? So we're going to go right into the middle right here into that second stitch. So yeah, it's yarn over and go into the second stitch up and do a half double crochet. Okay, and then you would chain 3, turn your work, and then you would just continue. You would just keep doing exactly what I just showed you, making sure that you remember at the end to go into that second chain up. So 1, 2, 3 into the second chain is where you're going to put your last half double crochet of the round, or row rather. Okay, so just keep doing that back and forth to do your grid. And as I said, you can make these as big or as small as you'd like, but if you want to make it exactly like mine, I start with a chain of 83, and then I did 34 rows. So this is what it looks like here, and it's 34 rows of those half double crochets up, okay? And then we're going to pull, I'm going to show you how to pull this in here, okay? So then what you're going to do is you're going to take whatever color that you want to use. Like I said, I use this print color from Hobby Lobby. It's kind of got, my mom was saying it's got kind of like some ocean colors to it. I think it's really pretty, but you could use anything you want. I definitely think this looks prettier with a variegated type yarn like this, a print yarn that changes colors with you. But of course, if you don't have that, you could just bring in different colors as you go along. So that's totally up to you. But what you're going to do now is you're going to take that color, whichever one that you want, and you're going to chain 75. And I'm going to make a slip knot, and I'm going to chain 75. And I actually have a placemat that's not done yet. And so I'm going to use the last piece of this to show you. So this is what it looks like. It's not completely finished. I have 1 row left, and I'm going to use this row to show you how to put these on. And as you can see, they're coming over just a little bit, okay? Also, I want to tell you, when you make this, your placemat will shrink some. So it's going to start out much bigger. And then as you put in these pieces, these chains into here, it's going to pull at it and make it smaller, Okay, and that's normal. That's what you want it to do. All right, so I've got this piece here where I've chained 75. I've got this piece hanging here, and I've left a long enough piece to put on my darning needle on the other side. So then you're just going to turn your work this way, and you're going to start weaving in and out of your grid. Just go in like this and go and do in and out like that. And then just pull through just like this. And then you're going to keep doing that all the way down. So I'm just going in and out of my grid, just like this. And it may try to bunch up on you. That's okay. Just pull it out. And it may look like when you get close to the end, like it's not going to be enough, but it definitely will be the 75. Okay, and I just want to make sure, like I said, that this is going over, because where I put the tassels in, I'm going to tie them. So when I go here, I'm not going to go under this. I'm just going to keep it where it's going over. So I'm going to go in here, and then I'm just going to let it fall just like that. So it'll be over the work at the end, okay? And then you can pull on them if you'd like. You know, pull on it like this to pull it out. But like I said, it's still going to shrink, and that is normal. That's what you want it to do. It's just going to pull everything in the grid, make it tighter, and make it smaller, okay? So now I'm going to show you how to make the tassels. You're going to have all these pieces hanging off at the end. That's okay. You're actually going to use these, so just leave them just like they are. Don't work them in. And then you're going to go over here, and you can see I've already got some tassels made. My yarn had gotten curly, so I'm going to have to straighten these with a straightening iron. But you can see here that these are going over the way I want them to do. They're not going under the grid, they're going over. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your yarn of that same color, and you're going to wrap it a couple times, approximately 4 times. So they're going to be about 12 inches long. You're still going to cut them though. And I'm just going to simply do this once, twice, 3 times, just like that, back and forth. And then I'm going to cut that off. Then I'll cut the pieces that I've folded, just like that. Then I will place it in half. I will take my hook, and I'm going to go right in between here into this stitch right here in between these two. So right here at the beginning, you're going to have 2. You're going to work in between them, in between these 2, and between these 2. Each one of these chains here, we're going to go in between there into this stitch. And it can be a little bit difficult to get into, and you could also just go through it if you wanted. Like you could just go through the middle, but I think it looks better. I've tried it a couple different ways to actually go through the stitch. So if you need to wiggle your way in there, just go ahead and do that, and then pull through this yarn that we made. And so then we've got that, and then we're just going to put our fingers through and pull the other piece through. If for some reason they didn't all come through, or they might pull out, that's okay. Some of those pulled out, too many actually. But then what you're going to do is you're going to turn your tassel over, and you're going to take these 2 pieces here that you had, and you're going to tie them in the back, just like this. And I like to tie them twice. And then they will fall into place with your tassel, just like that. And then they'll be right in between here, and it just looks so pretty and uniform. You can see here that they're just coming down on each side of the tassel. And then I just take this, and I try to remember exactly how much I'm taking off. And then I cut off as I go. And you'll probably have to cut off again just to make sure that they're all even, okay? But that's what it looks like, and you just keep repeating that. So we go to the next one, we have these 2, and so then you'll bring a tassel in the middle of here, and then you go to these 2, and you put a tassel in between here and in between here, and then you've got your last one, and you're going to put it in between there, and you're just going to keep flipping those tassels over and tying. Now, if for any reason you went over and you've got too much, like this one seems a little bit too long, you can actually undo these if you want to, just by undoing the crochet as you go along. It's a little tedious, but you can just undo that. And then when you get close to where you want it to be, just tighten it up into a knot really good, okay? So that's if they're too long for you on the ends. And then this other side, same thing. It'll be worked exactly the same way as this side. And when you're done, you will have a gorgeous placemat. So I hope this made sense. If you need any help or anything, you can ask obviously below in the YouTube comment section, but some people aren't comfortable with that. And if you're not, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I have a Gmail below that you can look into that too. And hey guys, come follow me over there. And I'll see you soon. Happy crocheting. Bye-bye.